and welcome to Kids Corner on Armstrong Channel 20. I'm Miss Krista, and I'm so excited today to be at Poland North Elementary School with Mrs. Sakula's and Mrs. Hoover's second grade classes. We're just getting ready for a great story and a great project. We're going to read Owl Moon by Jane Yolen. And after this, we're going to make our own owl pictures, but we're not going to just color them. We're going to use colored craft paper with an owl template or an owl copy already on it. And then we're going to use heart shapes, because when you turn heart shapes upside down, they look just like feathers. And our friends in second grade are going to glue different color feathers all over their owl. And I even have, when they are done, gems to make sparkly eyes and sparkly leaves. I hope that you love our craft. I hope that you love our book. And if you would like Armstrong to come to your school, have a grown-up email us at channel20, that's channel20@agoc.com. I think I hear our friends coming. We better hurry up and get ready. Who loves Gravity Falls? Well, Gravity Falls. Okay, you crazies, put down your hands. Gravity Falls, at the beginning, if you ever saw it, has an owl. There is an owl at the beginning in the opening credits of Gravity Falls. Who loves owls? I love owls! And we usually see owls. Oh, Mrs. Hoover, everyone knows Mrs. Hoover loves owls. And you love owls too?
You should see her room. It's full of owls. Her room is filled with owls.
We are going to, I didn't even know that Mrs. Hoover loves owls, yeah? Do you love them?
Twilight, that's a good movie.
What is?
Twilight.
Twilight, oh, who loves Twilight? Well, can't. If anybody takes music lessons at Music Lessons for Us All right in the center of Poland, you'll know. If you ever go there and see Miss Michelle, I think she had really, well, Miss Michelle has memorized every single Twilight book ever, and I think she decorated her whole apartment in Twilight. So make sure you ask Miss Michelle at Music Lessons for Us All about that. We are going to read, though, a very special book. Is the weather getting colder? Sure, it was freezing this morning. Miss Krista forgot her coat. And when it gets colder out, we start to see a lot more owls. We do. We start to see a lot more owls. We see them in the summer too, but we see them around autumn time, which we are in right now, and they are directly associated with a special holiday coming up, if I might use the term holiday loosely. What holiday? Yes, my friend. Winter. Well, winter's coming up, and I love, you're right, and the winter solstice, and that's what Owl Moon is about, mostly is about the winter solstice. But there's a special holiday coming up, and it has to do with pumpkins. Halloween, bravo. And you always see owls around Halloween time, which is probably where Mrs. Hoover gets a lot of her decorations, I'm guessing is Halloween, right, Mrs. Hoover? So we are going to read Owl Moon by Jane Yolen, and then we'll talk afterwards. So let's put our hands down and our listening ears on, and we are going to read Owl Moon. It's an oldie but a goodie. It was late one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind. The trees stood still as giant statues, and the moon was so bright the sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us, a train whistle blew, long and low, like a sad, sad song. I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulled down over my ears. A farm dog answered the train, and then a second dog joined in. They sang out, trains and dogs, for a real long time. We need to see what this sounds like. Okay, girls, you're the train sound. Boys, you're the dog sound. You're the howling dogs. Let's hear it. And then their voices faded away. Well done. It was as quiet as a dream. We walked on toward the woods, Pa and I. Oh, I still hear some dogs. Our feet crunched over crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was short and round. I had to run after him every now and then to keep up, and my short, round shadow bumped after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa always says. I had been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long, long time. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up, as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called, how do you call an owl? Ooh, ooh. The sound of a great horned owl. Ooh. Again, he called out. Ooh. And then again, after each call, he was silent. And for a moment, we both listened, but there was no answer. Pa shrugged, and I shrugged. I wasn't disappointed. My brothers all said sometimes there's an owl and sometimes there isn't. Do we see an owl yet? There's a lot of owl calling. We walked on. I could feel the cold as if someone's icy hand was palmed down on my back, and my nose and the tops of my cheeks felt cold and hot at the same time. But I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet and make your own heat. How do you make your own heat when you're walking? Yep, you might put your shirt over your mouth. You might walk faster, right? Because the faster you walk, the hotter you'll get. We went into the woods. The shadows were the blackest things I had ever seen. They stained the white snow. My mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kinds of things hide behind black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. Then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl. I sighed, and Pa held up his hand at the sound. I put my mittens over the scarf over my mouth and listened hard. And then Pa called, ooh, ooh. I listened and looked so hard my ears hurt and my eyes got cloudy with the cold. Pa raised his face to call out again, but before he could open his mouth, an echo came threading its way through the trees. Ooh, ooh. Pa almost smiled. Then he called back, ooh, just as if he and the owl were talking about supper or about the woods or the moon or the cold. I took my mitten off the scarf off my mouth, and I almost smiled too. Did you know you can call an owl? The owl's call came closer, from high up in the trees on the edge of the meadow. Nothing in the meadow moved. All of a sudden, an owl shadow, part of the big tree shadow, lifted off and flew right over us. We watched silently with heat in our mouths, the heat of all those words we had not spoken. The owl hooted again. Pa turned on his big flashlight and caught the owl just as it was landing on a branch. For 1 minute, 3 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes, we stared at each other. Then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without sound. It flew back into the forest. Time to go home, Pa said to me. I knew then I could talk. I could even laugh out loud, but I was a shadow as we walked home. When you go owling, you don't need words or warm or anything but hope. The kind of hope that flies on silent wings under a shining owl moon. What do you think an owl moon looks like? Could you tell from this story? What do you think it looks like? What do you think it looks like?
Whiter than milk.
Whiter than milk, probably big and bright, like the moon we've had this last week. Like our big full moon.
It sleeps in the day.
It sleeps in the day, yep. So the owl sleeps in the day, but at night, if you go out and call it,
it will come to you.
it will come to you. Who's going to try that? As the weather gets cold. No? Your dad?
Oh, you should hear him. It sounds exactly like an owl.
It sounds really, your dad makes a good owl sound. Has he ever gotten an owl to come to him?
One flew in front of her. Once I saw an alien, but it was just an owl.
Oh my goodness. And they're huge, their wings are like this long. Oh my goodness. Who is going to call an owl? You're gonna try it, aren't you? Let me hear your owl call again, because wait, you must be perfectly quiet. Hands down, perfectly quiet. Let's hear your owl. Oh, that is perfect. I hope that you all get to try it this weekend, right? We can't do it tonight because it's a school night. I know, but come Friday, yes?
I seen 2 owls before. One in the Poland woods and one in the Poland woods again.
So you saw both in the Poland woods at different times. That's excellent. What about you?
I guess you could stay up later because after all, it gets darker earlier now.
Well done. Very well done. It gets dark about 7 o'clock right now. So you could, right after your homework and after dinner, before it's time to get ready for bed, you could probably go out just in your backyard and call an owl and see if you can find one. Well, my friends, we are going to make a craft so that we can remember our story. And we're going to use something that I know you all love. Hearts. I know you're going, hearts for an owl? Really, Miss Krista? What's wrong with you? Somebody didn't have enough donuts this morning. But no, when you turn, and I'm going to show you, I made little heart cutouts. And when you turn heart cutouts upside down, they look like feathers. To do a very special craft using these. And I know they look pretty plain right now. They're just pieces of craft paper with an owl photocopied on them, which I'd like to pretend I drew by hand, but I didn't. I used a template that I cut out and then traced because Miss Krista can't draw anything by hand except for stick figures. So we are going to use our hearts, and when we turn our heart upside down, it's going to look like a feather. We're going to layer them right on here, just like the shingles of a roof. We're going to layer, layer, layer. As many hearts on as we want. Of course, we're going to use our glue Q-tips, our glue paintbrushes, and we're going to dip. And I'm going to show you how we'll do one of these. We are going to dip the glue paintbrush into the glue, put a little bit on our owl feather, put that back in there, and then we're going to stick it right on our owl. And as we layer these on, it's going to get fluffier and fluffier. And there is something for those artists in the room, our artistic aficionados, Something else you can do to add more texture to your creation, you can bend the heart in half. And then you take your glue, you glue just one half of it, and you can mix and match these as well, and then put a feather just like that so it's sticking out. So you can either put the hearts on flat or you can bend them to make it look more feathery. After that, I have gems. Lots and lots of gems for you to glue on. You could glue them on for your eyes, or you could glue them on your branch, anywhere to make it look sparkly. You could glue on lots and lots of stars. But this is your creation, so I'm not going to tell you what to do with the gems. It's up to you to decide what your owl moon picture looks like. So now we are going to pass out the glue and the glue paintbrushes. We're going to pass out the hearts and the gems. I also have different colored paper. This, of course, and I try to pick paper that reminds me of autumn. This, of course, is green like the, green. Oh, Miss Krista, all of a sudden I'm colorblind. This is brown like the leaves are turning, or brown like the woods. We also have, oh, excuse me, girls, do you mind if I move these down here by you? Thank you. We have green like the greenest grass, because right now the grass is really, really green because it's been raining a lot, even though it's getting colder out. I have burgundy like the beautiful sunsets we've been seeing and the beautiful colors that our trees have been turning. And of course, even in winter, there is sunshine. So I have yellow like the brightest sunshine. today at Poland North Elementary School with Mrs. Sekula's and Mrs. Hoover's second grade classes. Not only did we get to read Owl Moon by Jane Yulin, but we are making our very own Owl Moon pictures using craft paper, an owl template, hearts, gems, and lots of glue and imagination. I hope that you love the craft and the book, and if you would like Armstrong to come to your school, have a grown-up email us at channel20, that's channel20@agoc.com. This is Miss Krista for Kids Corner. I hope you have a fantastic day.